Hello, everybody. Welcome. Rose a psychic investigator. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Rosie psychic investigator. It's funny. I paused just because I was like, oh, I'm not saying it right. I, s- I, s- I say Rosie psychic investigator instead of investigator. Oh yeah. I just say no. No, that's not. That's a protection. I like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I fill my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that I create the good and only the good, and so it is. So I had just done a video just that it's uploading as we speak. And that video is about the darkness, though. Is about the lies that the administration is telling about the Kurds and the background of Kurds. And I talk a lot about, I show the maps and everything. I also talk about BB's maybe having compromise on Trump and how he's used it. I don't think, long story, you'll see the video. And I also compare the two wars between the Bush Middle East war and the Trump EPS Middle East war. But one of the things that I need to talk about, I know you guys probably think, oh, Rosie's obsessed about this because it's a subject that is dear to me. Oh, I'm kind of interested in this whole thing, right? But in the video, I think was it a couple of days ago, I did a video that was about the treason, right? That there's already evidence that Trump has committed treason on this war alone. And so there is some really interesting information that has come out about how what's his name? Kash Patel has fired some people. The people that he fired like a week ago were the exact specialists on Iran, the counterintelligence people. Who now counterintelligence are the people who observe those who are observing us, right? Long story. There's a spies that do, it's like kind of like a passive, I would say it's passive, but it's just more on the defensive, right? So those people that are specialists in what Iran is doing to us were fired. How convenient, right? So let's look into that, because this will also lead to the very uncomfortable prospect that, remember the document case. The document case, Trump stole documents related to Iran. There's people here on the internet that seem credible that are pointing out that maybe Trump, remember there were documents, I remember this, that he stole that were related to Iran, right? And that somehow he has given the Iranians the information. So again, I'm talking about it because it aligns with what I had seen. Okay, so let's look into it. All right, so here. Okay, let me just um, all right, so just I share this with you, okay? All right, so Tim Miller, he's the host of the Bulwark podcast. Still trying to wrap my head around Kash firing a unit that specializes in Iranian counterintel last week, when they knew war was coming because the agents were involved in the Trump classified documents case. Now, how interesting that the people who knew all about Iran, they were investigating Trump. And why are these people involved in the Trump classified documents case, right? Because it had to do with Iran, whatever Trump stole. Right here it is. Kash Patel's latest firings ousted agents with expertise in Iran. The FBI director gutted a specialized global espionage unit of counterintelligence agents just days before Operation Epic Fury. Now, Carol Leonnig is a very serious journalist. She used to work for the Washington Post. She now works for MS, now aka formerly MSNBC. Okay, so when FBI Director Kash Patel fired a dozen FBI agents and staff last week for their role in the classified documents investigation of Donald Trump, he targeted an elite counterespionage unit that investigates threats from foreign adversaries and specializes in Iran, according to more than half dozen sources with knowledge of the firings. The virus came, as Patel claimed, without evidence, that the team of FBI agents who investigated Trump's hoarding of top secret records at his Mar-a-Lago club had engaged in improper investigative steps. But his gutting of the global espionage unit, known as CI-12, also came days before Trump launched Operation Epic Fury, a series of bombing strikes on Iran that killed the country's supreme leader, Khamenei. All right. Okay. So, okay, CI-12 conducts investigations of illegal media leaks and mishandling of classified documents, but also has veteran agents trained on threats and spy operations with a special focus on the Middle East, including Iran and its proxies, but also Cuba and some terror organizations. It does not investigate threats from China and Russia, which are handled by separate units. Okay. This global espionage team helped uncover numerous counterintelligence threats from foreign governments, including Monica Witt, a former U.S. Air Force intelligence specialist and sergeant who began spying for Iran. All right. So guys, you know what? This is very strange, right? When you think about it, because now let me just, I'm going to stop. Okay, actually, no, let me go back here because this person has a very, all right, here it is. You know what? Let me show you. I have more. Here it is. Oh, here it is. I believe Tim means Trump. Tim means Trump had U.S. plans for a war in Iran, which makes sense. Trump has been mafia buddies with the Iranians for 30 years, so he probably sold our plans concerning Iran to the Iranians 3 years ago, if you're wondering why Iran is doing so well right now, right? Which is sort of like what I had seen, right? Okay, Elise Wallen too. So again, remember that Jack Smith came around and had to talk about it. He wanted to talk about it. And so I think this is very credible, guys. I think this is very possible, given what we know. The fact that these people, they were fired, they were specialists on Iran, and they were investigating the classified documents case, and they were fired. In other words, did they know? So this is, guys, such a big deal, right? But let's look into it, right? All right, so let's stop share and let me gather the questions because really the questions are very important. Okay, all right. So, guys, this is like maybe one of the most explosive videos I've done. Even though, like I said, it aligns with the reading I had done like a couple of days ago about Trump's treason being discovered in the midst of this, and how from the beginning I had seen, right, the military playing always whenever people ask me, is it Epstein what takes it up, military? And then the other day there's treason happening in this current war, and now this. It feels like this is the smoking gun. Okay, it's so big. So I have written down many questions, but let's do one at a time. As you know, I'm very detail oriented, so let's do it. Okay. So why did Kash Patel's latest firings? Oh, they did the protection. Let me do it again. I'd like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I fill my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle, get a circle. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that it create the good, the good, and so it is. All right. So let's ask the question: why did Kash Patel's latest firings oust agents with expertise in Iran 1 week prior to the war starting? What an odd coincidence, right? Imagine if you think that this country, there's going to be a war between this country X. The last people you want to fire are the ones who know everything about it, right? But somehow this happened. What a right? Wow! What an incredible thing. So tell me, why did he? Okay, I see that Trump called him and said, "Get rid of these people that were," with the way that he was it was described to him was like, "Oh, were involved in my investigation." And I see these files again, with like a file folders with information. And I see these like even like satellite type of like markings, very precise, where to target, what to do. That's right. So then they fire those people with the excuse that they have been investigating Trump, and they knew that, wow, some of these people know the exact files that have been missing. Wow, that's it. They have the exact list of the files that have been missing. Okay. Remember the because of course there's records of what was before, and they had look at it they know it so well, and then suddenly it wasn't there anymore. And who had the trash? For somebody who was such a clown, right? How come he knew exactly what was? And I see them put being like, it would be very good if you go find their documents and give to us because we help you. You help each other, you know. So yes, I see all two or three big files, and thought that that would help. I see he thought Putin would really like this. So wow, yes. So why did they? So what is the answer here to why they knew the files that were missing? That's right. It was not about, I think it was partially about the fact that they worked for the Trump thing, but because they knew the files that Trump had stolen. Wow, that's right. And how this would compromise the outcome of the war, right? I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's just so egregious, right? Yes. So, okay. So let's ask. Wow. Okay. So there, I'm going to ask a question here that I haven't written out, but this is the thing. Okay. All right. So here is, okay. So I have to ask this question, even though, right? So does Iran have in its possession any files that Trump stole during his last term in office? I mean, it could be a copy or whatever, right? Meaning, how would these files have exited, right? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It's saying yes. And that's right. But I see, guys, that really it tells me that Iran knew the plans of the US's plans. It also knew from Russia, I think, the locations of all of the relevant. And I see again Tulsi helping too. Tulsi also gave them information about the US bases in the Middle East. Okay. So yes, there's even evidence that she is probably has given them information because remember she was very like, oh no, don't attack Iran. And I'm not saying again, like Iran is like, I'm not like pro, you know what I mean? Saying like, I don't think the US should attack Iran at all, but I'm not naive to think anything except that how could you, guys, if you, let's say, for example, you decide that Iran is the enemy, right? How can you possibly then give them our information? That's called treason. It's called like the fact that he is not loyal to his own country. It's like, oh yeah, I'll call you in, but if you give me money, I don't really care because everything I care about, the only thing I care about is money. So yes, the answer is yes. Oh my God. Okay. Now let's see the other question I have here. And there, now that I've already done the part of the reading, it's gonna come out obvious, right? So Here is why were the Iranian specialists work in the classified documents investigation of Donald Trump? And the answer, yes, because they know with exactitude the materials that were stolen. And it said that some of them were, I mean, did they not have copies? I feel like they know what was missing. I feel like the US could still have copies. It's saying there's but there was always a matrix. It shows me that it's sort of like a photo, like negative of a photo. That's the most important, right? Then you can make copies from it. And that was gone. Now we have a copy. Okay. Well, because it's saying once you take out these documents, they have to make a copy to say like it was taken out this day or whatever. Wow, wow. And it was taken to the White House, never returned. Okay. Wow, because nothing shocks us by it, right? All right. So what does Kash Patel know about Trump's motives for firing the Iran specialists in the FBI? Again, like I said, Trump presents this to Kash Patel as, oh, they're just doing a vengeance on me personally. But he knows, yeah, Kash Patel knows. He knows the story. Has he read? Yeah, he's seen the unredacted version. And he knows, I think he's read and he knows the story. He knows the truth that Trump did it. Okay, I have a question, guys. Honestly, I'm like, I just, I'm like, okay, it's like, it's every day almost like nowadays, every day is this. It's like everybody seems to know what the motherfucker does, what the motherfucker is. And nobody, like, if I know somebody was doing treason, I'm like, you would do something, like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they get, it's like, come on, nobody. Like, everybody seems to know what the guy is and what he does. Nobody stops the motherfucker, okay? What the hell? Like, seriously? Because then I'm asking myself here. So with the military, does nobody else? Is there like another on top of the government? Like they knew the guy was doing this, and they allowed him to become president. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, seriously, like, it's not. It's like, what do you think is gonna happen? Like, come on, this is a question. Like, do I even have to write this out? Like, because people clearly knew. Did not? How was this man allowed to become president, considering what he's done? Say that's why Jack Smith went and wanted to and spoke out about it, right? And people knew about it, and he did it. But oh, the Republicans, oh, this and that. That's right. There was always somebody that's, oh, just look the other way. He didn't mean it. It wasn't so bad. It was like this. There's a normalization of treason. And I see that Putin is very happy that he was able to brainwash Trump so completely. I mean, Trump is completely corrupt. That's his essence. He's a devil. But that's where we are. Like, okay, and so yes, it will come out. It has to come out. The guy, my God, it's just like, even though I should not be shocked, but I kind of am, right? So that's it. Like, so I have a question: does anybody in the military have this access to this information? What the hell? What the hell? Come on, come on, come on. Okay, so I do see that again. The guy, the guy that was picked by Trump, even they were articulating they were doing something behind the scenes. I don't know exactly what, but something is being done as we speak, because again, people are dying. Like, people are dying because of this. People are legit dying because nobody had the balls to do anything, right? Like, that's it. And I think, guys, they say, oh, the Banana Republic. I don't think that Banana Republic is almost better, because at least, I'm saying in Brazil, they used to be called whatever, it still is Banana Republic. At least you don't have the capabilities, or you're not that developed in so many ways. The worst thing about the US is that you have these massive levels of corruption, but you have capabilities that other countries don't have. So these consequences are far worse, right? Because the US is a quote unquote superpower, and here we are. All right. Okay, this is a straight up question. Straight up, God help us. God help us. Okay. Jack Smith knows Trump stole documents related to Iran. the Trump somehow sell documents to Iran or Russians who were their close allies related to U.S. plans for a war against Iran. And I see spirits, yes, yes, that's what we're saying. And I see, guys, I remember at the time when the documents case was out, I did a reading and I saw these blueprints for buildings and different things, right? So, okay, so here, okay, so yeah, did it? Yes, yes. And I see it's a quid pro quo, even if, for example, you don't doesn't necessarily have to be cash. It could be like a building. Oh yeah, I'll give you a building. I give you an airplane. I give you this and that, whatever. Does it make sense? It's basically a quid pro quo. He thinks that he wins by selling US secrets to these countries. Because guys, I see that his goal in life is to please Putin. Again, Putin is a really great manipulator. The guy is a genius. He's a genius at doing this. Is the evil genius a motherfucker is. All right. So this is it. So I see us and I see the hands up of your head. I see we're gonna see it. Yes. God, guys, keep shining the light. I don't know. Do I even have any anger? I don't know what I have. It's a mix of it's beyond like it's disbelief and the despising. I despise people who did nothing. Like how many people knew this shit? They read it and like, oh, come on, somebody had like. But that's more, I think honestly, this situation in history had to happen. It's so big, but it has to be that big so that we can learn from this shit. All right, the world needs to learn. No, the guy's not just treasonous scumbag. He's a rapist of children, torture of children, possibly related to unaliving of human beings also. And this is the people that we clap for, not we, but a lot of people clap. Oh, he's great. He's so great. He's so great. But I do see that when push comes to shove, nobody's gonna be saying that about him anymore. So, and I'm gonna say a prayer to the U.S. soldiers who are sacrificing themselves for this thing, for this criminal treasonous thing. But as decision says, I hope it doesn't skip anything. Oh my goodness. So, that's it. That was saying, no, it's okay. The message doesn't be perfect. Comes from the heart. That's what it matters. All of us. No, it's not about religion. You can have different religion, different prayer. That's the point. Sending light to the people who are being sacrificed, right? That they may not be sacrificed. That the violence may stop sooner rather than later. So, and it's interesting. I get I see his face. John McCain. John McCain looking young back when just as he was like leaving for Vietnam around the age, before while he was captured, and he saying Trump said that he didn't like people who are captured, and now he's gonna be captured. He will be captured, so he's not gonna like it because he's suggesting he's saying straight up that Trump is gonna be captured, and I'm gonna have the last laugh, and he's having a glass of wine in heaven, right? So they're celebrating that finally the the monster is caught. And I see that, if you have an image of a hand in a candy jar, but it's a hand in a jar that it has blood in it. People have died because of him to protect his lies and his egregious treason. So, and it's saying that's gonna come out. So, God willing. All right. Okay. So, thank you for watching, guys, for real this time. All right. Have a good one. Bye bye.